The film Xman came out in 2000, but the team is much older. The Xmen were first in a comic from Marvel in 1963. Stan Lee was the writer and Jack Kirby was the artist. Lee and Kirby started many of the most famous superhero comics: Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk. Professor X put the first team of mutants together, and the Cyclops and Jean Grey were there, but the other X-Men were different. In the first comic, the X-Men were also against Magneto and his bad mutants. The X-Men were teenagers with teenagers' problems. At first, they didn't know how to use their powers. Professor X wanted to teach and help them. Most humans hated mutants and were frightened of these superheroes. Marvel ended the first comic of the X-Men in 1969. Many readers loved the comic, but more people read other superhero comics like Spider-Man. But Marvel didn't forget the X-Men. They decided to bring the team back in 1975. This time, the X-Men were different. Jean Grey, Cyclops, and the Professor X were still there, but the new team also had Logan, Wolverine, Storm, and other new mutants with very different powers. And they weren't all from America. Storm was from Africa. A mutant called Colossus was from Russia. Stan the Man. Many people think Stan Lee is the father of superhero comics. He likes to be in the films of his comics. In X-Men, when Senator Kelly comes out of the water, Stan Lee is near the hot dog stand. More and more people read the new X-Men comic. Soon writer Chris Claremont started to work on the comic. He worked on X-Men for around 15 years and wrote many of the most famous stories. Logan and his claws quickly became the reader's favorite. Sometimes there were stories just about Logan. In the 1980s, Marvel made more comics about Professor X and his school for mutants. The New Mutants was about a team of young students at the school in Westchester. This team later became X-Force. X-Factor put the old X-Men from the first comic back in the team. Excalibur put some British superheroes into a team of mutants. The X-Men changed a lot over the years. Some mutants left the team and new ones arrived. Some died, and some died and came back to life. There was even a change in Magneto. He became good and worked with the X-Men for a while. Over the years, people bought over 400 million X-Men comics, and the comic was in 22 different languages. It is maybe the biggest superhero comic in the world.